Selamat Selamat menunggu puasa. Okay. So the title given to me today is actually effective forum. So taking the initiative by CADe, which is online learning for all. So it means everyone should have access to the online learning, right? So when I'm given this task to talk about effective forum, so I'm asking myself whether should I focus on the tools only, or is it about the content of the forum? Because forum is something that most of the lecturers usually use. Okay, we already use forum quite a lot, but the question is whether it's really effective or not. Okay, so what is online forum? Online forum is actually a discussion, but it can occur asynchronous communication. So actually for e-learning, if you are talking about with the students, because our students, they are everywhere, because not all of the students remaining in UPM, right? So they are everywhere. So given that they are everywhere, we already know that they have limited internet accessibility. Some of them have a very slow speed and so on. So if we choose to do online forum, it is possible for the students to participate in this learning activity, because it can occur asynchronously. So everyone can join in the activity at different time, at their own time. Okay, so it plays an integral role in facilitating students' learning. Okay, but if we don't do it in a proper manner, it might be something not effective at all. Okay, it might be one-way communication where it's only the instructors talking or posting materials, but the students didn't get the purpose of doing the online forum. So why I think online forum is a very good platform for students that coming from various internet accessibility, because if it's a well coordinated if we make it if we coordinate it in a proper way, there are a lot of things that can be achieved, where it can enable the students to understand the context, and also for the instructor to assess the learning of the students. Okay, another thing is why it is more interesting, or it can be more effective in comparison to chat, which occur simultaneously at the same time, is because the students also have time to find their information, to do their reflection on the content before they post their materials online. So before they answer the question given by the instructor, or they reply to the comment by their friends. Okay, so the students will have some time to think and to formulate the answer. And at the same time, we also can encourage the student to work collaboratively. Okay, so what I mean here is actually we should be able to create an environment where the students make a proper discussion, even though it's online. Someone can give their opinion, and at the same time, other person can agree or disagree and justify why they agree or disagree with that information given by their friends. And so, and at the same time, why for online forum is so interesting, it will help to will give the information for everyone, a platform for everyone to build their interest about certain topics. Okay, so the discussion lead to a new knowledge, development of new knowledge according to the current situation maybe. And then another thing, it's also more flexible, it's convenience, and also it's accessible for a lot of people. But given we have to choose the right platform. Okay. So in the online forum, the online discussion will provide a significant opportunities for students to actively engage in their learning process through participation. So everyone can participate. However, we have to make sure there are enough student-instructor interaction so that the student doesn't stray away from the objective of the discussion. Okay, through this activity, the students also have the ability to exchange ideas with their friends. And at the same time, the student will also have the ability to teach their friends and also learn from their own friends at the same time. So as an instructor, we can just guide them to follow the right platform that we would like them to go to, but at the same time we should also be able to encourage them to critical thinking. Okay, for critical thinking. So however, even the online forums, they have a lot of benefits. However, these also have problems with online forums. If we didn't do it properly, the forum can experience inactivity and also intermittent or flurries messages. Okay, so it might be, it's like someone only talking and then only one or two students talking, and then they're talking about different topics, and then the students will start to lose interest because their ideas, no one is responding to their ideas. So it is really important to encourage replies between different students in the discussion setup. Okay, so that the student doesn't feel they are isolated from the discussion. Okay, so another problems with online forums, there are a lot of literature showing that so far with different platform for the forum, there are still things that are not enough to support online discussion, a very effective online discussion. Often, how can I say this? It's like when we post a certain issue and then we let the students to discuss. Different platform will allow the students to reply right away to the students to the comments, but certain platform the student can reply, but the lecturer, the instructor couldn't follow who is replying to the comments. So it's a bit complicated if the lecturers aiming to give marks, give evaluation to the students in terms of giving marks and so on. So it might be a laborious platform, but in terms of discussing and producing a new information, online forum is one of the best platform of the learning activities that we can do. Okay, so now we ask the question, how to make sure effective participation in online discussion. Okay, here there are 10 tips for effective online discussion. First, we should convey to the student a clear expectation. Every time we would like to post a topic about so that the students can discuss, we should convey to the student our expectation. I'm going to show the examples after this. Okay, And then as a lecturer, as an instructor, we also should be able to adjust the discussion board accordingly, because different batch of students, they have different points of view and so on. So we have to be able to show the student, we have to be able to, I mean, so that we can coordinate with the students, so that the students will follow the path of discussion that we would like them to follow. And then it's also important for us as an instructor to clarify our role in the forum, in the discussion. So usually to encourage the students to make the discussion as their own, so that they own the discussion, we as an instructor just play a role as a moderator, instead of, it's not moderator, it's just we're going to comment or we're going to respond whenever we think it is crucial for us to comment. So we should encourage the students to answer their friends' question, rather than we are the one who's answering all the question given by the students. Okay, and the fourth one, we should provide feedback and coaching. So instead of answer all the question, maybe what we can do to the students is actually give them the hint or feedback how they can answer the question given by their friends. Okay, the next one would be, it is important to track participation, because we would like all of the students to play a role in the forum. Okay, so we don't want only one or two students dominate the discussion. We would like all of the students to play a role. Okay, so if we have a very big group, it is also an ideal ways to offer a group discussion and also discussion board alternative. So what I mean here is, instead of giving only one question to the 40 class size, okay, where you have 40 students in your class, it is better to divide the question. Maybe we can make a set of questions, so that the students can choose which question they would like to respond and which question they would like to discuss. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that after this. Okay, so, and this is one important thing, is we should create questions that we care about, that we would like to really the students to understand. Okay, the students should grasp the knowledge. So we should create a question that will help them to achieve what we want them to achieve. Okay, and then if for a very big group, we should also try to think a mechanism where we can select a discussion leaders, rather than we are the one who make the summary of the discussion. We can ask any volunteers to become a discussion leaders, where they're going to make the summary for the discussion. Okay, and another thing is, we should encourage the student to do note taking, because as we know, the online platform is only available for them during the semester. So if they already finished the semester, they don't have the access to the system anymore. So if they want to refer for future. And then at the same time, we also should be able to make the limit when the student should stop posting, okay, when the learning activities is already end. Okay, so there is a need to set general rules. For example, I'm giving the instruction, the examples of the instruction that we can give to the students whenever we would like to make forums. Okay, so whatever I showed here for the instruction to students is actually, you can follow the same, more or less the same instruction. What we can do is actually we can make a separate file, and then we can share to the students. These are the instruction for the students. They have to follow this instruction for online forum activity. Okay, so the most important thing is to avoid redundancy. So we have to remind the student that they have to read all of their friends' posts before they posting any comment. And then ask them to always ask a question before they posting anything, whether they are adding values to the discussion thread or not. We don't want the students only to comment, yes, I agree, yes, I agree, no, I don't agree. They have to justify why they agree and why they disagree. Okay, and then as instructor, we also should determine, this is our role, we should determine the number of the posts or replies that we would like the students to meet. Okay, this is because as an instructor, we have to read all of their comments, all of their replies. Okay, so if we don't limit, we're going to face a problem, especially for those who are dealing with a very big class. Let's say you have 80 students and 80 of the student reply 10 times, you're going to have hundreds of messages, comments and replies that you should read. Okay, so it's going to be very laborious for the instructor. Okay, and then we also should encourage the student to reply to their friends' questions. So rather than they always asking new questions, they might choose to reply to their friends' questions. Okay, so from this activity, we can increase the interaction between the students, and the students will teach and learn at the same time. Okay, at the same time, since we are academicians, we also have to teach the students in terms of how they should communicate online. Okay, we know they usually communicate using Twitter, Facebook, and also IG, but we should be clear, we should make it clear to them that they shouldn't use the languages that they use in those platforms for our online discussion. Okay, and another thing is we also would like to highlight to the student they should avoid writing in all caps and so on. Okay, another thing is about the length of the responses or the posts given by the students. It would be nice, it would be great actually if we limit the words numbers, the word counts. Okay, so that we don't have to read a lengthy responses, and their friends also don't have to read a lengthy comments. So this will save the time, and at the same time it will help the student, it will force the student actually to write I mean to write in a very compact way, concisely. Okay, to write concisely rather than talking here and there. So when we limit the word count, the students will learn how to write in a concise way. Okay, and then in terms of frequencies, maybe we can write to the students that you shouldn't post only at the beginning of the weeks, or it can be let's say we give them 1 week for discussion. We don't want the discussion coming from only the day one, and there is no more discussion towards the end of the weeks. Okay, so we can encourage the students to always goes into the discussion and then comment their friends post. Okay, and
Sorry, Dr. Hamidah.
yes,
May I interrupt you for a while? So
yes,
far we have a few questions. You may want to address a few now. The first one, we have a question from Dr. Shazrina. She asked about the tips on how to engage students during forum. But then, since you have covered this one, or maybe you have additional tips besides the 10 tips that you have presented earlier. So you might want to add more on this. And Dr. Shazrina also asked, can forum be an alternative platform to assess student in terms of formative assessment during MCO? That is the question. The second question from Dr. Shazrina.
Okay, so in terms of tips on how to engage students during forum, uh, one way is actually to make students realize that you are there. Okay, you are watching them. Okay, throughout the time. So. Uh, when we let the students know that we are with them, we are watching them. So we can, I mean, communicate with the group, maybe WhatsApp group and so on, mentioning that, okay, good job. I already saw 50% of you already comment, participate in the forum. But then, what about the next 50%? Okay, so we can ask them, we can encourage them, and at the same time, we also can, if you make an evaluation. So I'm going to the second question. Can forum be alternative platform to assess student formative assessment during MCO? I think so, but you have to find the right platform. Okay. So I'm going to talk about different platform that we have, but we have to find the right platform for our purpose of doing the forum. So if we would like to go for assessment, then we have to find the platform that allows all the students can participate, and we can assess all of them. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So we have one more question from the chat room. I think Dr. Kwan asked, is there any suggestion to the word count?
Any suggestion? Okay, in terms of suggestion of the word counts, maximum would be 250. That is maximum. Okay, because if it's too long, it's going to be like reading an essay for us. Okay, so maximum would be 250. Okay, and then in terms of another instruction to the students in terms of the content, so we should highlight to the students that if you comment only "I agree," it's not enough. Okay, so we would like the students to answer if they agree, why they agree. They need to give their justification. Okay, on what basis they think the comment given by their friends, they agree with that, and then what is the justification. From that, they have to find the points to add on. Okay, the information. So, and if they don't disagree, if they disagree, they also should justify what are their justification, why they disagree with that comment. And as an instructor, we should I mean, this is our role. If we see that the discussion for the students, it's going too far away, stray away from the one that we would like to the students to go. So from that, our role is actually to guide them back on the right track that we would like them to discuss. Because it's often happen that students will start to talk outside of the scope that we would like them to discuss. Okay, another thing is since we are universities, in universities, teaching students in universities, so we also can encourage the students whenever they make their points, they should also mention what is the source of information that they get. Okay, so if they refer to journals or anything, they can mention the last name of the author, the publication, and also the year. So from this, the students will they will think twice before they post something. Okay, and at the same time, as a instructor, it will be lead by example. So if we would like to comment on the students in terms of giving information and so on, we also should practice the same ways that we quote the sources that we are referring to. Okay. And then in terms of the content, we should encourage the students to stick to the point. And then they also should be able to connect to the prior knowledge. So let's say previously they are working in certain industries, so they have their own prior knowledge, or from their own readings, but they have to justify from the source of information. Okay. Respond rather than add on. Yes. Rather than, as I mentioned, rather than student just said, I agree with X or great job Y, it's we should clearly mention to them, this not going to give you any marks, or there is it's not meaningful. Okay, so they have to throw their ideas through their writings whenever they are responding to their friends. Okay. So another thing is we should let the students to answer different questions based on their preference. Okay, and then we also should encourage the students. Let's say if they think this information is important and they found certain videos or certain links that going to help into supporting their ideas, they should be able to share that into the discussion board. Okay, so how to make sure effective evaluation on online discussion. So we as an instructor, our task is actually we are the person who are responsible to keep the discussion on track. Okay, so we should also contribute knowledge and insight, and also providing discussion topics and course components. Okay, and at the same time we have to maintain the group in harmony so that they don't quarrel to each other. Okay, so when we make a discussion forum, we should be very objective. Okay, so we have to state clearly what we would like to evaluate in the discussion. Okay, and then but at the same time we should follow the situations of the students. Okay, if we don't really follow the situation of the students to certain extent, the problem might be that the student will lose interest because they are far away from us, right? So we don't have the ability to make sure them you have to answer this and so on. So we have to to touch their heart so that they know they have to go there, they have to give their opinions, they enjoy the discussion. Okay, so we have to find the right balance for this. Okay, as an instructor, we should we should make it clear to the students our online presence. Okay, so we have to mention this to the student. We're going to read each of the response. Okay, but we're going to give our response when we think it is important and it is necessary. Okay, it's not that we're going to answer each of the comments from the students. No, if we see that the comments is already addressed by their friends, so that's all. So we don't have to comment on each of the comments from the student. Just imagine if you have 80 students and all of them responding to twice, we have problems. Okay, so we have to promote interaction between students. So maybe what we can do is one student responding, let's say the question will be, should MCO will be extended? Question. Okay. So maybe we can ask another student to answer the question given by the first students. Okay, it's not we as the instructor to answer all of the question given by the students. Okay, and then lastly, we should create a welcoming environment so that everyone's enjoy, everyone's willing to collaborate and contribute with their own understandings and so on. Okay, but however, we should be very careful as instructor, because if we don't set a clear rule, we're going to have problems, okay, in terms of online forum discussion, because it will be overload and exhausting work. Okay, as I mentioned, if we don't plan clearly, if you have 80 students in one class and each of them responding to 10 replies, we are at the trouble. Okay, so so I wrote there, imagine we have to answer all the comments, elaborate and evaluate everything. So that's the reason why we should encourage the students to respond to their own friends, and at the same time we also should limit the number of their comments. Okay, so when we want to design our online forum, what we should do is we should take our time. It's not just you go to the platform and then you write the question and that's all. No, if you do it, you're going to face trouble later on, because you don't know how to evaluate. Okay, so you should take time to decide what is the objective of that forum discussion, and then we have to determine the most effective way to do it, and then we have to determine the method of evaluation. So in terms of method of evaluation, there are two ways. We can ask the students to comment, to give marks, I mean to give points to their friends' comment, and at the same time we also can set in the PutraBLAST actually in terms of what are the scales that we would like to use. Okay, so when we want to make a forum, when we plan a forum, it is important to consider the following question. Okay, so what is the purpose I want this discussion to serve? Okay, we the one have to know what we would like to evaluate in students, or what we would like the students to learn from the online discussion. Okay, and thus the information that we give to the students foster dialogues, or it's increase students thinking or not. Okay, so we have to prepare appropriate materials according to the course learning outcome. Okay, so we have to make the first material, the material that we would like the students to refer to. Okay, so maybe we can give them online reading materials. Okay, so what would be great is actually to give online reading materials prior to the discussion. So what I usually do is I give the students 1 week before the discussion starts. Dr. Wan, do you have any suggestion, the criteria that we should include in the rubric if we want to assess the student for online forum? Okay, so Dr. Sazlinda asked suggestion, the criteria that we should include. Okay, so usually we use rubric for online forum. Okay, maybe the first one would be in terms of the content of the reply that the student give. Okay, so in our rubric we should make a rubric about the content, and then the next one would be in terms of their comment. We can make it in a scale, in scale like. So let's say their comment is it's already answered the question by the students, we can give them extra marks there. Okay, so actually we can make a rubric. And another thing is in terms of how many times they do online presence. Okay, once the students respond, we can see the date and the time when they respond. Okay, so maybe the students only present once in the online discussion and they don't enter the discussion room anymore after that. But maybe one students, they on daily basis, but they don't spend a lot of time. Maybe they spend about half an hour looking to the discussion and try to reply. So we can also consider that as the frequency of entering and giving feedback in the discussion. The next question, do you have any suggestion? The criteria? Okay, done.
Yeah, I think it's the same question posted
The same
twice.
question.
Yeah.
Okay, so next would be, okay, so for in certain situation, we can give link to online videos to the students, and also we can give them downloaded videos. So this is depends on the student. I'm going to talk about this, why I listed these three materials. Okay, so the next question that we should ask before we design our online forum structure is actually to ask, what is the size of my class? Okay, because the size of the class will determine the number of responses that we're going to get, that we have to evaluate actually. Okay, so if our class is less than 15, we can post maybe one question, and then we ask the student to respond to the question once and then reply to their friends' feedback once. So in total, we're going to have already 30 responses to evaluate. Okay, minimum. So if we think that twice is too many, then we can limit the number. Depends on our ability to spend our time to go through, to read, and to comment on the students later on. Once we make a wrap up for the discussion, we should be able to wrap up everything for the students. So we have to read everything that the students written in their discussion. So if our class is more than 15, let's say 30, okay, or you have 80, it's a very big class for like a service course. Okay, so we can make a set of question. Okay, maybe we can give them the material that we would like them to refer to, and then from that material we can make a set of question. So a set of question maybe 5 or 10 depending on your class. And then after that we post the different question in the platform, and then we let the students to decide which question they would like to answer. But we have to limit the students. Let's say for each question, only 10 students should answer the question. Okay, so it will be based on the first come, first serve. Okay. And then when the students already selected the question, so they will be in the group. So once they're already in the group, you should ask the student to appoint one leader for each of the question. And then they should start to discuss in their group about that one particular question. Okay. And then after that, the group leader will have the responsibility to make a summary for the discussion that they have in their group. Okay, the summary shouldn't be too long, maybe about 3-paragraph summary, and then depends if the lecturer would like the students to post into the PutraBLAST so that other students from the rest of the class can read the summary, or the lecturer going to collect all the summaries, and then we post that summaries so that all of the students in the group, in the class, can read the responses. Okay. So this is different ways. So we can think by ourselves depending on the structure of our class. If we have so many students, if we have not so many students that we even remember each of them, it's fine, we can handle the class. But if you have 80 of the students, it will be too laborious. So this is one way how we can make it easier, the mechanism to make it easier. Okay. And this is the most important thing, since we are in MCO, and this online learning is for all, because we would like all of the students have to have the ability, okay, to do online learning. So we should ask about their internet accessibility in our class specifically. Okay, so I think even though CADe and also faculty already made the um, survey, okay, but as an instructor we should know our students. Okay, so I think what we can do is actually we can have a WhatsApp groups with our students, and then we can ask them about their internet access, okay, the speed of their internet. Or we can make a Google Drive, post to the, because usually students, they have their own WhatsApp groups, that's for sure, usually. Okay, so what we can do is we can post a link, a Google form link, and then we ask the student about their internet accessibility, because we have to remember the online learning is for all. So our purpose is everyone should have access to the online learning. Okay, and since online discussion forum can be, we can do it asynchronously, everyone can respond at their own time. So I think this is one of the thing, I mean, the most limited things that we should allow the students to be able to participate in. Okay, so as an instructor, we should ask the students first. Okay, because if we make a very fancy design, if the students cannot even load the information, they cannot even go into the platform, uh, then it doesn't serve whatever we are doing, right? It's become useless. Okay, so for this webinar, I'm going to talk about different platform. There are a lot of platform available. Okay, there are more than 15 available platform. Okay, but the one that I'm going to cover here is only the PutraBLAST from UPM, because everyone's know that we have forum in our activities in PutraBLAST, and then we also have Padlet, Edmodo, and also WhatsApp. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, in terms of the PutraBLAST, this is the one that everyone's know in UPM. But then in terms of Edmodo, actually we can ask the student to download their apps in their phone. Okay, the the layout for the Edmodo in apps, more or less for, it looks more or less like Facebook. Okay, so it's easy, it's so easy for the students. Okay, in terms of the Padlet, every students can, not every, okay, because I made a survey to the students, ask how many of you can open Padlet. There are some students saying that I cannot open the Padlets because their hotspot is, they mentioned the hotspot is like hot siput. So yeah, it's problem for them. Okay, and another thing is a platform, WhatsApp. We can use WhatsApp for forum, but then we have to make sure we have a WhatsApp group with the students, and the students also have their name, a proper name in their phone number. It's not that Chiki Chiki Baba or any numbers, because we want to track the students. Okay, so ask the group leader or the group rep to make a separate group specifically focused for the class, and then set a proper time to make the online discussion. Okay, so we have to select the best platform based on our needs and also the students, the ability of the students to participate. Okay, this is another important things. When we make a forum, we should ask the right question. Okay, because if we ask a a question that not a good question, it might be a very a very boring discussion maybe. Okay, so usually we should ask open-ended question in forum. Okay, because open-ended question usually it will elicit discussion. It will increase our ability. I mean, create opportunities to think outside of the box, and also we can brainstorm for solution to a problem. So if you're asking the wrong question, it might be for instance, a question like, are we in MCO now? They're going to ask yes or no, and that's all. There is no further question or elaboration on that question. Okay, so when we make our question, it shouldn't be a very a question like an essay topic, because it will the students going to answer in a very long way. Okay, and then another thing, it shouldn't be a very research based question, because the student have to find a lot of citation just only to answer one question. Okay, so if we are asking a good question, it is actually an open-ended question, then we should refer to the Bloom taxonomy, where for the lower level question, lower level question is a close-ended question like yes or no, agree or disagree. But then for higher level question, the student have it requires the student to think, to find the reason before they answer the question, and it's usually an open-ended question. So examples of questions, starters. So when we want to make a question, I give examples here, like for synthesis question, evaluation question. So we can ask the student which is more important or moral or better. So then the student will discuss different factors before they come out with their own ideas or justification that they think this is the best choice. Okay. So there are different examples of different questions that we can ask the students depending on the materials that we give to the students. Okay, another thing is for the forum, it can be designed not only into a question and answer format. Okay, we also can make a debates. Okay, we can make also a role plays, project prompts, and peer review or feedback, and also case studies. So it's also can be in the format of forum, but we have to structure the forum carefully so that kita tak banyak kerja kemudian. Okay, so give them time. Okay, give the students time, appropriate time. If you give a journal, 2 pages journal or 3 pages, it's makes sense. If you give them like 2 days to read or 3 days to read, and then you start to post the forum. But if you give them a review article with 31 pages, please give them time to read, because to read an articles for students, it's a problem. Okay. And then at the same time, when we already start the discussion with the students, we should go into the discussion room from time to time, maybe on daily basis, maybe about half an hour or 15 minutes, just to have a look whether the discussion is going on or not. Okay. Okay, so online learning for all. So we should give all students the opportunity to learn effectively using online platform. So I'm going to share what I found. Okay, that's all actually. I'm going to share what I found for the students.
Okay, so while Dr. Hamidah is searching for the things that she wants to show us, let me just address one good comment and suggestion from Dr. Chong. So Dr. Chong said Google Drive is a great idea now that Google allows Google Drive to be working offline. So students do not need to download the file. Once they visited the Google Drive document, it is safe offline. So I think it's a very good suggestion and comment from Dr. Chong. So Dr. Hamidah, please, you may
Okay.
proceed.
So I'm going to share this. This is actually what I did in PutraBLAST. I post a question to the students, and then you can see here what happened is the students, they didn't answer. I mean, each of the students, they going to answer the question on their own. Everyone is answering the question, each of one of them. Okay, but they don't even replies to their friend comments. Okay, so this is important when we design our question. When we make a question and also the design of the class, we have to make sure the students to clear that they have to answer to their friends comments also. Okay. Okay, so in terms of PutraBLAST,
So Dr. Hamidah, have you started sharing your screen or are you still looking for the document that you want to show us?
I'm looking to the document. Okay,
All
now.
right, okay. Now it started.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, okay, this is another set of student, another class. When I clearly mentioned to the class that you should reply to your friend comment. Okay, so we can see here the students replying. So this is my comment to the students. The question that I said to the student, and then this is one student's comment to my question, and then another students also comment. But the problem with PutraBLAST here is actually you don't know which student, the name of the student is not appear here, so it's a bit problem if we would like to use PutraBLAST for our evaluation. If we are considering that PutraBLAST for the evaluation on their how they reply to their friends. Okay, so it's a little bit problem there in terms of our PutraBLAST. Okay, so now I'm going to share
Dr. Hamidah, we have one more question from, I think, Dr. Faiz. So Dr. Faiz said, correct me if I am wrong, if you use external platform such as Padlet, it won't be considered as a course activity, meaning we cannot use Padlet to fulfill the blended learning requirement, which asks for a minimum of 3 course activities. So Forum in PutraBLAST can easily fulfill the requirement. So what do you think of this?
yeah, it can fulfill the requirement, but the question is, can the student open the PutraBLAST or not? That is our problem. Okay, so I think, yeah, maybe CADe have to think proper. I mean, have to come up with a proper guideline in terms of this, because I got quite a lot of comment from the students. They can't even open PutraBLAST at all. So that is a problem. So if we would like, I think in terms of, since we are in MCO condition, I think as long as we can prove that we are doing our online activities with the students, because let's say if you're using Padlet, you still can capture screen, keep the proof, right? And then if you're using Edmodo, as long as we can prove that we are doing the things, I think it shouldn't be a problem. Because yeah, if we keep on, I'm not saying PutraBLAST is not good, but then in certain condition, we should think about whether the students can open PutraBLAST or not. That's the reason why I mentioned in my slide previously that we should ask our student, because it might be different. Some class might be all the students can access to the PutraBLAST, no problem at all. But for instance, my class cannot. There are a lot of students cannot even open PutraBLAST.
Oh my god! Oh my god.
Okay, so they cannot even open the PutraBLAST. So that is problem. So if we would like to use other platform, I think as an instructor, we should keep all the proof. Okay, we just capture screen and anything, we keep the proof. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share this. Okay, this is actually the comment that I get from my students. WhatsApp is okay. So this group of students, because in this class I have a students that cannot even download any link that I give in the class in the WhatsApp group. So for her, using WhatsApp is the best platform to doing an online forum. Okay, so but another set of group of students, they prefer to use Edmodo. How many of you know Edmodo?
So far, I've heard of Edmodo, but never use it. But I know that some did use Edmodo for the class.
So Edmodo, what's so nice about Edmodo is actually they have an apps. Okay, I'm sharing this one now. Okay, this is another group of students. When I ask them between PutraBLAST, WhatsApp, Edmodo, and also Padlet, there are a lot of students. This is actually a capture screen. Okay, there are a lot of students answering that Edmodo is the best for them. Okay, and for me personally, I also like to use Edmodo for online forum, because it's more or less like Facebook. That I have to find the.
It's okay, Doctor. So while Dr. Hamidah is searching for the things that she wants to show us, let me just address a few comments that we have in the chat session. It's going very lively and lovely. So I think there is one cute comment here from YouTube. So it's from Dr. Annie. Forum is passive, but it's a good platform for a long interactive discussion. So although sometimes we may forget to check it, it's true. So I think from today's session, hopefully we can improve our way of conducting our discussion in the forum.
Okay, I found the one in Edmodo.
All right.
Okay, so this is in the Edmodo. Edmodo is actually they have in website form, and at the same time, what the students like is they have apps. So you can download Edmodo in the apps. It's in your phone, and then what I like about it is actually because I can track the student's name, and when this let's say another students comment to this comment, you see this is Amirahani. She make a comment, and then when another student comment, they use no they still show the name of the students. So this is important if we want to track the participation of our student when they are replying to the discussion. Because for online forum, if each of the students only answer our question but they don't answer question from their friends, then it's not a discussion, right? It's like you just answer the question given by your instructor and that's all. But if a proper discussion, it should be that from one student, another students can reply to their answer, and another students can comment to the another students comment and suggestion. So then then the discussion, the online discussion become effective, so that the lecturer doesn't have to comment on each of the comment by the students, because maybe some of the comments already been addressed by their colleagues. So we are encouraging their peer learning. Okay. So anything else? Hidup Edmodo, we use it a lot for English. Yes.
Yes. So far, we don't have any further question, I guess. But if you do have question, please feel free to ask. We still have a lot of time, I guess. Oh yeah, we are already 3:30, but then I think we can still address a few more questions. If you have any, please feel free to ask. So let me just read one comment from Kate. I think it's to address the issue that we talked previously on between Padlet, Edmodo, PutraBLAST, whether or not it's considered. So Kate mentioned that UPM is quite really flexible on teaching and learning, especially during PKP. So it's up to the creativity of the lecturer and faculty for delivery and assessment. And it's posted by Dr. Fatlina. Thank you, Dr. Fat, for the comment.
Yes. Thank you for that too. But if anyone considering to use WhatsApp for online discussion, I think it might be a bit troublesome, because you should make a proper time. Maybe from 3 to 4 is online discussion. And then after that, because the students tend to talk about different things in their group, right? So it might be problem for us to track later on.
Dr. Hamidah, so we have a few more questions here from
Yes.
Prof. Jinab. Is it possible to create grouping in Edmodo for forum discussion?
Yes, we can create grouping. We even can share information in the Edmodo, and in the Edmodo we also can when we create a class, we can create a class. Just press the button to create the class, and then it's going to give you the the code for the class. And we also can invite the student by using a link. We can just share the link, and then they click on the link, then they straight away go into the class. So yeah,
So
I
it's
think
possible.
it's one of the easiest things, and there are a lot of students still can use Edmodo.
Mhm. One more question here from Dr. Intan. So Dr. Intan asks, do you check each of the students' comments? And one more question from Dr. Jasmine. Can we use Facebook or Instagram for online forum?
Okay, I'm one of the person who always on Facebook and also learning on Instagram. I think if we can control the students in terms of we come up with general guidelines saying this is online forum about this class, about this topic, these are the things that you should do, and so and you shouldn't do. And then as long as the students are okay, I think it's fine. We can use whatever platform that is beneficial for the students, and as long as they can participate. Okay, they can participate, so that they won't say that, oh, I cannot do that because I cannot go in. Okay, so we have to find the best platform for them. And if we already provide the best platform, if they don't want to come in, then that is their attitude, that is their problem, not ours anymore, because we already make it we are very flexible already. Okay, so it's their attitude. Okay.
So I think we have one more question from Dr. Shazrina. Dr. Shazrina is being so active. Maybe she's very interested in this topic. So from your expert opinion and experience, how long the duration to keep the forum available for students?
Usually I keep the forum available. I start to give the simulation. I mean, journals or any link for YouTube and so on. 1 week prior. 1 week prior of the starting the activity. Adik, jangan adik. But then once we start the activity, usually I give only 1 week, because we also need time to go through to read the students' comments and so on, and then we can wrap up the conclusion about the class. About the discussion, because we have to conclude, because some students they think they answer already correct, but then we can tell them they can improve their answer like this and that. So we still have to wrap up the class.
So Dr. Badronisa from engineering, the question is, could we add the evidences of using WhatsApp, Padlet anywhere in PutraBLAST? I think it's maybe for evidence purposes.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
In my opinion, since I'm like a everywhere person, I can put anything anywhere. So I think we can deposit all the proof that we have from Edmodo, WhatsApp, and so on. We can just upload as a file that we have in the PutraBLAST, and then we can make like a section, maybe a proof during MCO, my online learnings. So this is the forum. So then we can upload, because one of the thing, if we remember for our KPI purpose, if we have that activity and our head of department approve that is the proof of the activity, it's fine. Okay, it's not necessarily we complete the 1732 component straight away by using the PutraBLAST system, since I think since Dr. Fadina also mentioned that we are if CADe already considering they are very flexible, then I think it's just a matter of we prepare the proof. That's all, I think.
Yeah. So one more question from Dr. Annie is from YouTube. Is Edmodo safe from hacker?
Yang tu I tak boleh jawab. Itu I tak tahu.
Yeah, since the safety issues are going on since the MCO starts and the lockdown starts. So I think there is one more question, but it's not really pertaining to the topic today on the internet connection and accessibility of PutraBLAST and all the stuff, online stuff. So I think it's more on the issues that are not related to this topic today. So let me see if we have any more question here. There are a few comments regarding the Edmodo and its safety issue. Dr. Natwoon, it says that Edmodo isn't that attractive to hackers. I think he think, but we should be careful. We should be careful nonetheless. Yeah. So, any more question from YouTube, Dr. Chong? Oh, no more question from YouTube. So I think we have addressed all the questions. So thank you, Dr. Norhamidah, for such a great sharing. I think we have a very good session, and we got many tips how to conduct online forum. Previously, I have to admit that I didn't think that much before I created a forum on PutraBLAST. Now that we know we have to ask so many questions before we started any forum on any platform, so it's good to know.
Because I love to use I love to use forum, but then I found that it's so troublesome to make the evaluation later on because the students post a lot of things. It's too
Yeah.
lengthy. It's like, oh my God, this is the problem.
It's quite laborious if we do not choose the right
Yes.
platform and the right method. So I think it's over to you, Dr. Wan.
Okay.